Hello. How is everyone this Thursday? I'm so glad to be here with you. Today, we are talking about valuing yourself and kind of just some ideas about what had happened to me last week in terms of in my coaching session and the thoughts that I was kind of having, the feelings I was having that kind of led to me, you know, indicating or, having a result of, oh, I'm not valuing myself, not valuing my time. Um, so there was something that had happened. I was having a thought about it, uh, in terms of, you know, what I was providing. And then the feeling I was having was that I was feeling very inadequate. Um, And so then the actions I was taking were actions that kind of, led to me doing things like buffering and watching Netflix, eating things I normally wouldn't want to be eating, things that were more emotional eating type of things, just taking those actions that didn't kind of correspond with what I really wanted. Um, so then the result that I was getting, it was, that I wasn't, not that I just wasn't doing the things that I didn't want, that I wanted to be doing, but that I was also then not really valuing my time, not valuing who I am as a person, not valuing myself. So then I thought, oh, okay, so let's just kind of talk about that, right? Because we were talking about, judging yourself. Um, and, I didn't see when I was thinking those things about what I was doing as a judgment. I, but then, actually looking at it, you can start to say things to yourself and not realize that you are judging yourself, that you're not valuing yourself. So let's kind of go through some feelings that kind of happen or kind of indicate that you're not valuing yourself and your time. And again, we go back to the fact that you're worthy, right? You are amazing and worthy just as you are, just because you're a person. And the only way that is taken away from you is if you give that power away. So if you allow yourself to not, step into that worthiness, to step into valuing yourself. Some of the feelings that pop up when we have those thoughts, that society, tells us we have to be a certain way or do certain things. So then we start to, have feelings like inadequacy, incompetency, feeling unloved, feeling afraid of upsetting people or making people mad or of making a mistake. If we're feeling like we're going to be criticized or someone's going to disapprove of us, um, especially when we're doing things that we think are the right things for us, but maybe because of how other people in society have said things should be, um, and you're not following that path, right? Then you may think that someone would disapprove or someone would be critical of something you're doing. And then you also have to look at, am I critical or disapproving of something I'm doing? And why is that? Is that coming from somewhere external, or is that coming from internal in you deciding what is right for you? A lot of feelings of worry, doubt. So that's just kind of some of the things that will come up when you're not valuing who you are and what your internal intuition is telling you about what you need and what's right for you. So just kind of something to think about is when you start to have those feelings of inadequacy or fear of criticism and disapproval or worry and doubt about something you're doing, and that's coming from outside, then start to think about, is it coming from outside or is it coming from me? And why am I feeling that way about these actions I'm taking? And do I want to be taking these actions? And then you get to decide if it's something that intuitively is the right thing for you, or if it's not right and you're choosing to do it because of some external influence, or you're choosing to not do something because of some external influence instead of what you want, what you internally know is the right thing for you. So let's kind of look at some ways to kind of increase your valuing of yourself. So things like, one that was really great from my coach Rebecca, when I was coaching with Rebecca, and the first thing we would do is go through what's my wins for the week. So what are the things I've done that I'm proud of, that I felt really good about, that achievements I had, both personally and professionally. And I mean, just kind of look at what you've done in a day and make sure you're celebrating that. Make sure you're celebrating those wins in your day. And it can be very simple, right? Because we, just talking about things like, if you're trying to improve a routine or add something to your morning routine. And so like you've stacked something on, like if you, you want to make up your bed every day, and it's something you start doing right before you brush your teeth, or something like that, then you can go, oh yeah, I did that 3 times this week, right? And there's no perfection, right? You can't do things perfect, but you can do what you want to do to the best of your ability. And you can take simple things like that and celebrate that you did the thing you wanted to do, right? Celebrate your integrity with yourself in choosing to do what you wanted to do. So that's a good way to kind of start to value yourself and your choices. And then the next thing is to think about when you start to have those thoughts about you being wrong or inadequate, or someone being critical or disapproving of you, you can start to go, okay, where is that coming from? Is what happened because of something that I can change, or is it something that's outside of me that I can't change? Right? So if there's something that's happening that you can't change, right? You can't control the weather. So a lot of us feel like someone will be disapproving or critical, like if we have a birthday party and we had planned it to be outside, but then it rains, right? or snows, in my case, with my kids' birthdays being in the winter. And, you have to look at that and say, there's no inadequacy in you. It's just happens. Weather happens. Just kind of thinking about how someone else reacts or interacts in a situation. You can't change them. You can't change how they're going to react. And when you allow that to impact you and how you're feeling about yourself, then it can cause you to kind of undervalue yourself, whereas you could not have anticipated something that you can't change. Let's kind of talk about the idea next of what you do and how you do, and that the idea of perfectionism, right? So a lot of us want to do things perfectly, and there is no perfect, but there's also kind of a cost there, right? For a lot of things, for trying to reach that perfection. The idea that B work is good enough. And a lot of us don't want to, be okay with that. 80% of the time, or 80% of getting a task, correct or right, or to the best of your ability, is usually good enough. And when you know that it's not good enough, then it should not be every single task, right? So, I mean, just thinking about things at home. So thinking about, let's say, the dishes, putting away the dishes, right? If I can get most of them out of the dishwasher, but then set the plastic out to dry longer, well, I've only done 80% of the task, but I can be okay with that. And then later on, like if my husband has to put the rest away, or if I put it away later on, that's fine. Doing something like, the laundry, and I miss a couple things that my son left in his room, even though I've asked him to bring those down, right? Something like that. It's just like, okay, so 80%'s done, but I can't change him and I can't make him see things on his floor that, unless I go up there, right? So, I mean, just kind of think about what's the 80% that's good enough that you can do, and what tasks are those that can be 80%. Something like you go to a car wash and wash your car, right? And then there's still spots. That's an 80% as well, right? I mean, nothing is ever going to be perfect. You do a task and you write a report, you create a post, and maybe you misspell something, right? It's good enough as it is, because it doesn't have to be perfect for everyone to kind of understand and get the information you're trying to provide, right? Even just my talking here on this live, right? This is not perfect, and that's okay. It's just trying to provide the information so that you can be helped in deciding how you're going to value yourself. Let's go to a couple more. The idea that everyone makes mistakes, right? And it's in those mistakes that you learn and grow. And no one ever gets there. There's always more to learn and grow with. And that's awesome, because that is the cool part of life, is the ability to keep moving and growing and seeing what challenges you can take and what you can overcome. Another thing to think about is doing things that you enjoy. So if you're not doing anything that you enjoy, why not? Value yourself enough to ensure that you're doing things you enjoy. A lot of people go to work and come home and, they don't really do a whole lot they enjoy. Maybe they watch TV but I mean, what are those things that would really make you excited for the day? What are those things that you would really enjoy? So kind of, in doing that and bringing in those hobbies, those things you enjoy, you're valuing yourself and your time. Something else that helps when we talk about health is movement. So especially if you're in a job where you sit all day and you don't often take breaks to get in movement, that's something to kind of think about, is how can I move my body to keep my body healthy? How can I ensure that I'm drinking adequate water? How can I ensure that I'm putting things into my body that keep my body healthy? So those are just some of the ways that you value yourself and value your time. And then kind of the other one, looking at the Facebook group, right? The last one, the quote from Marilyn Monroe about, be you. Don't compare yourself to others, because they would make a very poor substitute for you, and you would make a very poor substitute for them. So just be you, and the best you that you can be, and in the growth that you want to have for your life. You don't have to go and be like someone else because someone thinks that they're more successful. You be you and have your success. Also, just kind of thinking about the past and what has happened in the past. Every day starts anew. Every day is a new day. And the past is past. And yeah, I know our brains kind of look at the past, right? We've talked a lot about, our brains look at the past and experiences, and then that's how it kind of, you know, looks at the world from the past experiences, because it can't take in all the information all the time. So it uses those past experiences to kind of help process that information so that you don't have to see and think about all of it at the same time. And yes, that's helpful to a certain point, except that when you want to do something different, if you go and look back to the past, you're going to say, I don't know how, or I can't do it because I've never done it before. Whereas if you think about learning to walk, you had never learned to walk before, right? So then you can start to look to the future of, what can I move towards? And that's another way of valuing yourself, is to choose to look at the future and what you want to do in the future and work towards it, instead of look at the past and decide you can't do what you want to do based off what has happened before. So I hope this was helpful in learning and helping you to kind of identify some feelings that may indicate that maybe you're questioning your worth or questioning your value, and then some ways to kind of help you to boost up your thinking about your value by using things like celebrating your wins and you know looking for the future and not the past, and doing things at 80% instead of wanting to do everything perfectly. And then thinking about, is it something that I can or can't change, and leaving those things you can't change behind and going and working towards the things you can, as well as doing other things that kind of help your body, like movement, water, eating things that your body enjoy, that's good for your body and good for your health. So I hope that's helpful for you. Remember, valuing yourself is a choice. And just from the understanding of, what happened with the coaching that I had last week, it's like, I get to choose to value myself more, to value my work more, to value what I'm doing and the actions I'm taking more, and to choose to not take the actions of buffering and Netflix as much, because of doing these things like, looking at my wins, looking at things that doing things I enjoy, helping people, not looking to the past, but looking to the future. So it doesn't take anything special. Uh, you know, just you deciding that you are going to value yourself more, and kind of putting some things in practice to help you to value yourself more. And again, it can be just as simple as starting with saying, what am I proud of for me today? What did I do today that really felt good, that felt like a great thing? Or what am I doing today that I enjoy, that's bringing me joy of life? So I hope everyone has a beautiful, wonderful day, and I will talk to you guys again next Thursday. Bye.